Hi, how you doing, my friends? My name is David. I'm not going to give my last name because I don't want the BS that happened to Joe the Plumber. I'm putting it plain and simple. I'm going to say it. Vote for Barack Obama because he is the president that is for 95% of the population, not just the top rich. George Bush and and most of the Republican leadership that we have had is only for the people at the top that are rich, and the people at the bottom either stay the same or get poorer as a result of all this inflation that's taking place, and as a result of the loss of income, as a result of the jobs not being here anymore, everything being made in China. It's impossible, my friends, to actually buy anything that doesn't say in it made in China. It's basically, with the goods being made in China, the jobs went there with it, and with everything being made in China, that's exactly where the money is. Made in China. And basically, President Bush just did a fine job past 8 years. He did a fine job pretty much at being the president of China, not us. He did a fine job of building up China's economy. Because everything's being made in China now. That's the reason why the economy is down in the United States. The reason why people are losing their homes. That's the reason why the stocks are tumbling. And when this country goes down, it takes every other country down along with it because we're the ones that are consuming those Chinese-made goods. Of which a lot of people are having trouble buying these cheap-made goods. It's because the simple fact is the jobs aren't here anymore. So I'm wondering, and what I'm running out loud is, how could so many people in Ohio be voting Republican when they're the reasons why a lot of your factories have closed up, and and the reason is because of all those goods that used to be made in this country are now made in China. Same thing in Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls, New York, and in New York City, most textiles, most fashion goods, clothing is made in China now. So when you go around Midtown Manhattan, around the dirties, the garment district of what used to be humming with so many jobs more than 5 years ago, you go around there now, it's a virtual ghost town. Most of a lot of those factories are empty, and another casualty of this is the Pfizer plant in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. The Pfizer plant in Williamsburg, Brooklyn employs thousands of people making pharmaceutical goods. Guess what? That plant ain't there no more. That plant is closed down because guess where they'll know why? Because the goods that were made there now, guess where they're being made at? China. And it's all thanks to our president, George Bush. Vote for Barack Obama. Get someone in the White House that's gonna make America great again. The free trade agreement with China needs to be abolished, and with 60% of the goods being imported from there with tariffs on in order to get these goods made here again. Number one. You Number two, I also want to talk about what Joe the Plumber is calling socialism. He's hit the idea of the Republicans, and they call it liberalism, they're calling it socialism, they're even calling it communism. Barack Obama's plan, which is what should be done. The people making over $250,000 a year or more can afford to pay 3% or more in income taxes because they're rich. People making between $200,000 and $250,000 a year, the taxes will stay the same. People making under $200,000 a year, the simple fact is the taxes are going to go down. People at the bottom, when their taxes go down, they're going to have more money. They're going to take that money. They're going to spend it on goods and services, and even be able to afford to hire Joe the Plumber, which a lot of people can't now, are barely having trouble paying their mortgages or paying their rents and trying to make ends meet. These are people that will, when we're in the long run, people making more than $250,000 a year or more, and people like Joe the Plumber will end up making more in the long run. Number two, I want to attack this Joe the Plumber story and this whole hogwash. Most plumbers don't make $250,000 a year. Most plumbers barely make around 50,000. So Joe the plumber under Barack Obama, you would get a tax cut, not a tax increase. And I'm not even going to get into the other hogwash that happened. I'm not even going to even get into that. It's basically all BS. Okay? Vote for Barack Obama. Vote for a president that's going to make America great again. Now I want to get into the budget cuts that Bush has made and would continue under McCain. But McCain voted with Bush 95% of the time. The Army Corps of Engineers wanted to strengthen those levees in New Orleans, which would have prevented that Hurricane Katrina disaster from happening 2 years before. Bush refused the funding. You know the aftermath. And you know the people that got hurt the most were people that were poor, that didn't have $250 to be able to rent a truck from budget, to be able to get the belongings out of there, which resulted in a lot of people ended up staying, got killed there, and the goods and belongings got destroyed. Just because the simple fact is they didn't have the money to be able to move them out of there before the hurricane came, and the homes got destroyed. My friends, Bush is playing games with your safety. Making budget cuts at your safety. Bush also calls it, and McCain and including Joe the plumber also calls it communism by people having affordable health care. My friend, I don't got health care. A majority of the people in this country don't got it simply because they can't afford it. We need a system like Canada where everybody is covered and health care should be a right, not a privilege. Vote for Barack Obama, a candidate that's going to make America great again. Number 3, I'm going to talk about another issue where Bush's budget cuts played games to people's safety. In Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and the Tabor White Houses, New York City Housing Authority project, the New York City Housing Authority asked for funds that would have resulted in the elevators there replaced 2 years before that. An elevator that was breaking down all the time. It wasn't replaced. The end result was little baby Jake, 2 kids that were going to school that morning. The elevator stopped in between floors. An elevator that was supposed to be replaced 2 years before, but wasn't thanks to Bush's budget cuts. Stopped in between floors. The door opened up. Little baby Jacob tried to escape that elevator, fell down the shaft to his death. That could have been avoided if it wasn't for Bush's budget cuts. And that's what's going to happen. You vote for McCain, these things are going to continue on happening because he's just a clone of President Bush. Maverick, my foot. Yeah, you know Maverick, my friend. And we're going to end up having more little baby Jacobs falling to their deaths because the game's being played with safety. You're talking about bridges, roads, and you're talking about bridges and infrastructure that is crumbling just simply because the Republicans don't want to put it in the budget to have them fixed. So we're going to end up having more little baby Jacobs falling to their deaths. The only trouble is the next little baby Jacob might be a ton of people in rush hour traffic that are going to be falling to their deaths to the bottom of a river because of one of these bridges collapsing, like in Minneapolis, all thanks to budget cuts and funding requests turned down by Republicans playing games to people's safety. Number 2, another thing I want to hit on is the mass transit, fare increases that have gone on with the inflation that has gone on as far as cost of food escalating out of control because of what is this deal? How could these oil companies be making billions of dollars in profits off of our misery at a time when crude oil is at such record highs and the Hurricane Katrina aftermaths and a whole bunch of other things because of these 2 oil men that we got in the White House? Put in McCain, we're going to have the same misery. It's just going to continue. And number 2, we need to start having fare cuts, mass subsidies, fare box operating assistance subsidies from the federal government again being given to mass transit to subsidize because mass transit saves millions of gallons of fuel being used every year, and people that are poor end up riding these